Because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
And Frieza not only watches the world burn, but he's the guy who set fire to all of it. That's right. We're going to be talking about my boy Frieza, okay? Emperor Frieza, okay? In my opinion, one of the greatest shonen villains of all time, and is definitely the model to look up to when you're talking about evil, sadistic villains, okay? Especially in shonen anime. And in my opinion, is easily Dragon Ball's best villain, okay? So we're going to get into this video right now. I got a rant, y'all. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Guac, Papa Dustin, whatever the hell y'all want to call me. Back at you again with another video today. As always, feel free to follow me on all my other social media down below, my Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, gaming channel, all that good jazz. Now look, I might be wearing a Hunter x Hunter shirt, but today we're not going to be talking about them. We're going to be talking about my favorite anime of all time, Dragon Ball, and in my opinion, their greatest villain, Frieza. Lord Frieza-sama, okay? Now, before we get into this video, I just want to say that I hate Frieza. I'm being honest here, okay? I can't stand Frieza, okay? I almost hate Frieza as much as I do Sho Tucker or fucking Danzo from Naruto, okay? Like, I have a extreme distaste for Frieza. But in my opinion, it's honestly that distaste I have for the character that makes him such a good villain, okay? I feel like too often, you know, whether you're talking about the MCU or you're talking about anime, manga, whatever, okay? There's so many times people love the villains, okay? People love the villains, okay? And they almost like them more than they do the fucking heroes, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's nothing wrong with having relatable villains, okay? But sometimes, excuse me, you just need one of those evil, maniacal, sadistic motherfuckers that you just love to hate, okay? And Frieza, in my opinion, is practically the fucking king of that, in my opinion, okay? Some people might disagree with me, but, you know, it's that dislike I have for the character. It's that evil, sadistic side of him, that arrogance, you know, that toying with his opponents, playing with his food that he does, okay? That makes him so detestable. It's what makes him such a good villain, okay? And that's kind of what I want to get into, and kind of why he works so well as Goku's villain, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into an overly in-depth analysis of Frieza's character, the psychology behind his character, okay? I mainly kind of want to say this as a person who's viewing the anime, or a person who's watching it for the first time and wanting to know about Frieza, or, you know, just want an honest opinion about him as a viewer, okay? So that's kind of what I'm going to be giving you here. And, you know, that's it. So let's get into it. Now, one of the reasons I feel like Frieza works so well as Goku's villain, okay, is merely the fact that he's honestly a, you know, bigger example of nature versus nurture than Goku or Vegeta, okay? I'm pretty sure you've probably heard the nature versus nurture argument, okay? And everyone always uses that when discussing Goku and Vegeta. And while it does work for them, okay, Vegeta is a more natural prodigy than Goku is, okay? Even though the series would have you believe differently, that is definitely the thing with them, okay? Which is why they train differently, okay? But it's to the extreme when it comes to Frieza and Goku, okay? Mainly because Goku was such a low-class infant. You know, he was born with a power level of 2, whereas you look at Frieza never had to train a day in his life up until that point. Part of the reason Vegeta, for example, trained so hard was so that he could one day surpass Frieza, and then he could take over rule of the galaxy and the universe, okay? That he could be the one to rule the universe, not Frieza. He didn't have to be under his thumb anymore, okay? Just as his father and the rest of the Saiyans were, okay? He could take revenge on Frieza and be the one to, you know, avenge the Saiyans' deaths. That's just why he trained so hard, and in the end, he failed in the Namek Saga, okay? Whereas Goku, you know, was mainly training just to test his limits and to see what everything was going on, okay? And Goku had to work twice as hard as everybody because he was so, you know, considered less than when coming to Earth, okay? Of course, to the humans, he seemed incredibly strong, but to the Saiyans and the Frieza's race and the Frieza's army, he would have been considered nothing more than a low-class warrior, which is what made him work so hard, okay? Goku was born from a low-class family, sent to Earth, and had to train with Grandpa Gohan up until his death, and then would later on train with Master Roshi. And, you know, he made friends along the way and became Earth's, you know, best hero at that time, okay? But Frieza, unlike Goku, was born into power, okay? His father was King Cold, okay? He, you know, was born into power, and he was born with power, okay? He was born with a power level of 120, so much so that he had to take on 3 different forms just to suppress his massive amount of energy, okay? That's just how Frieza was. Frieza never had to train a day in his life. He even admitted this in the Resurrection F arc, that he never had to train a day in his life. There was no point. He was always so much stronger than everyone outside of Majin Buu and, Beerus. Okay, those were the only 2 people he were to never challenge, and considering Buu was sealed away and Beerus was asleep most of the time, Frieza had nothing to ever worry about. That's just kind of how Frieza was in his empire, how doing everything was. Frieza was always, calm, collected. He always liked to toy with his food. He was evil, maniacal, and he almost had no reason to be the way he was outside of him just being born into power and, having nothing better to do. He had all these planets under his thumb. He had all these people who grew up under his rule, who were afraid of him, and they had good reason to be. Frieza never had to work for anything. He was merely just a spoiled brat who got whatever he wanted, and whenever he didn't want something anymore, whenever he got bored with his toys, he just threw them out like they were nothing. That's who Frieza was, whereas Goku learned to be caring and kind to others, to make friends along the way, but also, to enjoy the fight and to, get stronger and, keep people, getting stronger so he has a challenge for the future. Goku had to work hard where Frieza didn't have to, which is why they work so perfectly together, okay? Because they're just so opposite, okay? Goku affects the environment he's around, the people he's around, positively, okay? While he doesn't have a talking no jutsu like Naruto or, anything like that, okay? He doesn't have the Soul Society on his back like Ichigo. He doesn't have the same things as they do, okay? Goku always had to work for what he did. Goku had to work and train hard, okay? And he gained everyone's respect, and, people became interested in Goku as a character, okay? Because they saw his hard work and his dedication, but also his care for others, okay? While he did have this poison of loving for fighting, okay? He definitely still affected people around him positively, whereas Frieza, all he ever was, a dictator whom everyone feared to be around, because the minute you even say anything, out of turn, he's just going to kill you or just blow up your entire planet, okay? He was evil and sadistic, okay? Whereas Goku, held back against his opponents so he can draw out their full power. Frieza held back merely just to toy with his opponents. He would praise them for getting stronger, but then would still just put them back down negatively. And that's the reason why I think, they work so well as hero and villain, because they're the exact opposites of each other, okay? But I think another reason why he works so well as Goku's villain is because, in a way, of just how he connects into the story. I could get into an entire video on why the Namek Saga was so good and as a good development for Goku, okay? And I'll kind of get into that here. Goku, up until that point, while he knew he was a Saiyan, never wanted to be like any of the Saiyans, okay? He didn't want to be a planetary space pirate, okay, that went around conquering worlds for Frieza, okay? And as he began to understand more about his race and his heritage, seeing Vegeta and all these guys, and, Vegeta's final plea to Goku before dying on Namek was to defeat Frieza for the sake of the Saiyans, okay? In my opinion, was a good character arc for Goku, okay? Because it's not only Goku accepting his alien heritage, okay? But it's also Goku looking at the man and taking on, that vengeance, that wanting to get back at Frieza for destroying his people. Goku now knows he's from these people. He knows that they were destroyed, and the guy who destroyed them is standing right there. And he's seeing this guy, Vegeta, who up until this point was his enemy, okay? On the ground, crying, begging him to avenge the Saiyans, to avenge Vegeta, to avenge his people, his mother and father that he never got to meet. Okay, his brother that he helped kill. But, and in a way, it was Goku taking on that role of being that hope for the hope for the universe, but also the vengeance of the Saiyans, to become the very thing that Frieza feared, okay? To work so hard and to not be able to take on Frieza, but to unlock that true Saiyan potential he has. That's what Super Saiyan truly was. It was Goku's pure rage, but also the potential of the Saiyans, the very thing Frieza feared, and it came in the form of a low-class warrior from Earth who shouldn't have been anything to Frieza. That's why it works so well, because not only is he the opposite of Frieza, but he represents the very thing Frieza feared. And even to this day, we have Black Frieza, we have Golden Frieza. Frieza remembers Goku, okay? And while he does have a certain respect for Goku, he wants nothing more than to see him crush. That's what Frieza wants to do to Goku. That's why Frieza works so hard. In a way, Goku affected Frieza just as much as he affected everyone else, but where people see a healthy, respected challenge, like Vegeta wanting Goku to be a rival, Frieza sees Goku not as a rival, but as a hurdle that he needs to jump over. And if he has to train, if he has to go through all these things just like Goku to get to that point, that's what he's willing to do. It's a deep-seated hatred for Goku, for basically humiliating him, for defeating him, and he was nothing more than a lowly Saiyan, a low-class Saiyan at that, who basically surpassed him and beat him, and then had the audacity to spare him because he was bored of fighting him, okay? That was a big insult to Frieza's pride, okay? For Goku was another fight to challenge himself, okay? For Frieza, it was the worst moment of his life, and it's something that eats him alive to this very day. Even in the manga, okay? That's what Frieza, lives for, to see Goku's destruction. But in a way, it causes him to respect Goku in a way that, even though he hates Goku, he understands not to underestimate him. He knows that Goku, as well as Vegeta, but more so Goku, is a force to be reckoned with, okay? He's the guy that went toe-to-toe with him, okay? Everyone else felt so hopeless against Frieza. Vegeta got stronger and still got beat. Piccolo, Gohan, okay? They were so willing to throw in the towel. They were just so hopeless. But Goku, despite having all the odds stacked against him, stood up to Frieza and in the end won, okay? You could just know the Saiyans were down in, hell or wherever the hell they all were, okay? Just cheering for him, okay? Even Vegeta, okay? They knew to praise Goku, and that's when Goku earned Frieza's respect as well. He was the first person, despite being this lowly Saiyan, to walk up to Frieza, seeing all the odds stacked against him, and to walk up and to not be afraid. In a way, while it was Frieza's darkest moment, it opened Frieza's eyes, and it caused him to respect Goku greatly. In my opinion, it changed Frieza in a way. While he's still sadistic, evil, and maniacal, it changed him to grow and respect Goku, despite Goku being the very person he's supposed to hate, being Goku's opposite, and Goku being his opposite, which in my opinion is why he works so well as Goku's villain and as Dragon Ball's primary villain. In my opinion, Dragon Ball is already such an influential anime as it is, okay? And to have Frieza be the model for villains in other shonen animes, okay? Of course, you can talk to him about how he compares to people like Aizen or Yhwach or, fucking Orochimaru or Madara, okay? You can look and compare him to all these other villains, okay? You can compare him to Dio Brando, Sho Tucker. You can compare him to All For One. You can compare him to Muzan. You can compare him to all these other villains, okay? And say these villains have better character arcs. They have better stories. They have better powers. They have more hacks. You can say all this, okay? You can't deny that Frieza has an impact on people in shonen anime and in other anime as well, okay? He definitely has his impact, okay? He's definitely, in my opinion, the model that other shonen villains can look up to, okay? Mainly because he doesn't really need a motivation, okay? He does, while he does want to overthrow people like Zeno and become the ultimate ruler, okay? His motivations aren't as, complex as others. He doesn't want to see the annihilation of Shinigami, okay? He doesn't, because unlike, Aizen, he doesn't have to fight for godhood. He never really had to, okay? He doesn't have to fight for godhood the same way people like Aizen do, okay? He doesn't have to sit here and try to, rule the world because he already rules so many, okay? Frieza's main motivation at this point was, ruling his empire, wanting to see Goku and Vegeta die because he can't stand to be in a world where people like Goku and Vegeta exist. While he does want more power, he doesn't have to have that same drive because he already has so much. He's a guy that merely wants to see people burn and die simply for his own entertainment and joy. He's just evil and sadistic, okay? And while that leaves a bad taste in people's mouth, it's what makes him such a good villain, in my opinion, okay? Because he's willing to do all these crazy things. He's willing to blow up planets, cause mass genocide just for the lulz, just because he can. When you see him destroy Planet Vegeta and how he just laughs maniacally at it, just enjoying it, comparing it to fireworks even, okay? That's how despite them, being, loyal I wouldn't say loyal servants, okay, but, servants and, some of his strongest warriors, okay, just because of a mere myth and legend that he heard of, okay, having just that slight bit of distrust for them was enough for him to completely genocide them, okay? The fact that he kills, entire battalions of people, of his own men and soldiers, just because, you know, they might say something, oh, he seems a little short. You know, it's that maniacal evil side that makes him such a good villain, okay? He just wants to watch everything burn. It's like it was said at the beginning of the video from my boy Alfred, okay? He's a guy that wants to see it all burn down, and just because he can. He doesn't really need major motivations. He's just evil. And to me, those are the scariest types of, you know, villains, okay? You know, to quote Dr. Loomis from Halloween, you know,
what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Frieza is purely evil. That's just it, okay? I'd honestly go as to say that he's almost just as evil as, you know, Kid Buu, okay? Who's literally just the embodiment of pure, unrestrained evil, okay? And while Frieza has this maniacal, cocky side to him, you know, this somewhat more, you know, calm, you know, somewhat, I wouldn't say humane, but a little bit more collected version of himself, okay? Deep down, when you see Frieza at his weakest, his lowest point, how even in the Tournament of Power, when Jiren was just beating the shit out of him, he was so willing to just throw out the rules and try and kill him. That's who Frieza is. Frieza is nothing but a machine, an angel of death that wants to see people, anyone who even dares to oppose him, even in the slightest way, just die and crumble at his feet and beg for mercy, while he mercilessly kills them and slaughters their entire people. That's what, in my opinion, makes Frieza one of the most terrifying, but also one of the greatest shonen villains. But that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments below. Anyways, this is just another video I wanted to put up for you guys today. As I said, let me know what you think about Frieza. If I missed anything, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what your opinion of Frieza is. Do you think he's one of the greatest shonen villains of all time? Do you think he's Dragon Ball's greatest villain? You guys let me know. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.